postponed to the 1st of June 2023.
Kusifilisele ukulayelwa ngeveke ezako ngelesine ukulayelwa kwesibawo esirhabako sika Dr. Iindaba Magudumana sokuthi akhutshwe ejele ngombana wabotshwa ngendlela engakafanele eTanzania.
Mr. Director talks about high-ranking political office bearer. I can at least say yes, there was a mention of a name.
Umluleki ngezevikela ukamengameli uDokotela uSydney Mufamadi ubhalile naye ukuveza amabizo wabosopolitiki abasola ngobukhohlakali kwa-Eskom.
We know how to create problems for them.
Being in the final, we're not able luck.
I-Orlando Pirates ibambana neSikhukhune United eLoftus Versfeld Stadium ePitori zibanga iNedbank Cup. Sihatsha ukusuka e-Auckland Park eJohannesburg akwandi mbukele ekhaya sokwamukela endabeni zesiNdebele ku-DTT. Ikhotho ephakemeko ye-Free State ikuthulisile ukulayelwa kwesibawo esirhabako sika Dr. Iindaba Magudumana yathi sesiza kulayelwa ngeveke ezako ngelesine. Lokhu kwenzelwa ukunikela umbuso ekubalwa hlangana umnyango wezangikhaya ithuba lokufaka amaphepha walo ngendaba le. uDr. Magudumana uphikisana nokubotshwa kwakhe eTanzania ngomhlolanja umnyaka lo. Ulise ukufaka isibawo sebheyili ekhotho kaMagistrate weBloemfontein. Kunje uqalene namacala wokusiza umbulali obotshweko uThabo Bester ukweqa ejele, ukhobela umthetho, ubukhohlakali nokukhahlumeza isidumbu.
Firstly, the Minister of the Department of Home Affairs of the Republic of South Africa is joined as the 6th respondent. Secondly, the 6th respondent will file its opposing papers, if any, by no later than Monday, the 29th May 2023 at 16:30. Thirdly, the applicant will file its replying affidavit, if any, by Tuesday, the 30th May 2023, no later than 16:30. Application is postponed to the 1st of June 2023.
Inkhulu ezifaka hlangana uMeya wePitori uCelia Brink, ungqongqoshe wezamanzi uSenzo Mchunu kunye nesekela lakhe uDavid Mahlobo bebakhuluma nembikindaba ngendawo etsenga yamanzi eHammanskraal iRooival Water Treatment Plant.
Let me just emphasize that a lot of what we discussed and agreed is subject to further discussions and further agreements also with other organs of state. But it comes down to broad in-principle agreement to form a partnership, to pool resources, and to once and for all solve the long-standing issue of the Rooival wastewater treatment plant and the fact that that plant has been out of capacity almost for 20 years now. We have reached, as I have mentioned before, the end of a long line of failures and excuses, and whatever has failed in the past must now be abandoned and must be replaced by this partnership as I have described it. We will have to, as a city, source additional funding. There will have to be additional agreements, but what the department has brought to the table, and which we must now take to other departments and spheres of government, will, I believe, solve the issue. But I want to be very cautious in making any promises that we are going to solve this issue overnight. This is the first step of what I believe to be a clean break with the past, the failures, the disputes, the squabbles, the excuses. I know I've been deliberately vague in this discussion, and I want to provide the Minister with an opportunity to also frame his view of our engagements.
We are going to be having a meeting or requesting a meeting with Treasury. There are some specific matters that are going to be discussed with them. We will meet human settlements, specific matters with them. But in principle, a document was presented and it was agreed on. all we have to do is to just refine it by getting those departments that have been identified to then comment on the agreement. But I know that the milestone has been reached by the agreement between Tswana and ourselves, DWS. That opens up other possibilities which we will discuss with yourselves, or we will present to yourselves as media and public once everything has been finalized.
In the meantime, there is an agreement that work must be done on Rooiwal, and it must be resolved, because if it is not resolved, all our solutions are not permanent. They will not bring about the change we need. On the other side, where us as DMs and MMC have been sitting, the question of the investigation, we don't want to rush it. There's an agreement, we're not going to rush it, because we need to get to the bottom of this. Ultimately, the agreement is that let's allow the investigation to proceed. There are many people in organizations, like Executive Mayor is saying, they are taking tests. And all of them, they are making pronouncements. And we will always avoid to make pronouncements until there is a complete way of doing this. And the team that will be overseen by myself and MMC Fosi, after there is an agreement, when they've concluded this task, DG is helping to conclude that work with his team. These results will be made publicly, because to do an isolation and be doing the scouring where the problem is, it's not just that you can do a harsh job. You need to have historical data and events, the time the event, there was an outbreak and post, and then the reliability in terms of stress testing. You'll be able to do that.
Kanti sisaphethe zamanzi njalo umnyango wezempilo eFree State uthi munye umuntu obhubhileko ngemva kokwehla kwecholera esifundeni C.
Usomkhulu womnyango wezempilo eFree State uMondli Mvambi uthi bathatha abantu abathole mhlapha nje banecholera nabahlolwako eParis neFredfort, kanti umuntu obhubhileko ubike bona ngeweFredfort. Umvambi uthi okwanje izibunane izehlakalo zabantu abanecholera ezibikiweko. Umvambi uyelelisa abantu bona bazivikele ebulweleni ngokubilisa amanzi ngaphambi kokuwasela, basebenzise insetshenziswa zokubulala amagciwane nabahlwengisako begodu bahlamba izandla ngaso sonke isikhathi.
Isibawo sokutshutshiselwa ngeqadi kwakamongameli uCyril Ramaphosa esafakwa ngumengameli walokhu uJacob Zuma sithuliselwe uRhoboyi. Lokhu kunjengombana sisagodliwe isehlulelo sikaMengameli uRamaphosa sokutshijila ukutshutshiselwa ngeqadi.
Ikhothe ephakemeko eJohannesburg ithulisa isikhathi eside indaba emalungana nesibawo sokutshutshisela ngeqadi uMengameli uCyril Ramaphosa esafakwa nguZuma.
The draft order marked X is made an order of court.
As it pleases the court, my lord.
uZuma uvele khotho namhlanje ukuzokuqinisekisa bona indaba le iyaraga. Nanyana kunjalo uRamaphosa khange kufuneke bona vele khotho ezobelelesi njengoba navikelwe incwadi yomlayo siqabo esikhatshana ayifumana ngoTshirhweni nakusalindelwe imiphumela yentshijilo zamagcwetha akhe okuyindaba elalelwe ngaphambi kokuthi amajaji alindele isahlulelo.
So from a practical point of view, my lord, to allow the space for the judgment, we thought if it pleases your lordship, we would ask for a longish postponement, so that at the next appearance, of course, we'll also report back to the court and take it from there.
uZuma ulinga ukudosela uRamaphosa ekhotho ezobelelesi malungana nebasho ukuveza tshachalazi incwadi ezimumethe impilo yakhe ngesikhathi secala lobukhohlakala ekhotho ephakemeko yaKwaZulu-Natal ePietermaritzburg. Umengameli waphambilini lo usola uRamaphosa ngokubhalelwa kuthatha amagadango malungana nebasho kwephula umthetho le athi basho iphikisana neNPA kunye nekambiso yonke ezobulungiswa. uZuma thethe nethuba elingokukhulunyelwa amagcwetha akhe wazwakalisa ukuthwenyeka malungana ngeqadi.
There has been a pattern of, I don't know what to call it, whether it's a go-slow or a sabotage. Every time this matter has to sit here, we have to be struggling for days to have it placed on the roll, which is surprising because it was postponed to a particular date.
it might be that it's a matter that we should raise with the registrars rather than your lordship, but it was my instruction is just to raise it, my lord.
Indaba le yokubuyela ekhotho ezobelelesi ngomhla ka-29 kuRhoboyi.
Umhlabi mkhosi wesidimeni uProfessor Leslie Robertson ubuyile kodwa ekundleni ephenya malungana nesehlakalo sesidimeni ehlezi ekhotho ephakemeko yePitori namhlanje. uRobertson wethule ubufakazi wathi ubujamo inguli zalokhu zesidimeni ezabhubhela ngaphasi kwabo ngoba bengakajayeleki. Umbiko wavela eofisini enkulu eqalene nezempilo ngo-2017 waveza ukuthi ezinye inguli ezigula ngengqondo zabulawa ukugula kwenyumonia okungafumani inhlahla nokwehla emzimbeni hlangana nokhunye. uRobertson ongudokotela engqondo emphakathini waba ngomunye wabahlabi mkhosi abatshela imbiki indaba ngokubhubha kwabantu esidimeni okwadosela ekutheni uhulumende athome iphenyo.
Zibalelwa ku-144 inguli ezabhubha ngo-2016 ngemva kokuthi zisuswe emakhiweni we-life esidimeni zisiwe enhlanganweni ezingalawulwa mbuso ezinye zazo ekhabe ezinganamalayisensi. Lokhu kwenzeka ngemva kokuthi iziko livalwe emnyango wezempilo eGauteng owathi basho uhlawulelwa zimali. uRobertson ngufakazi wama-41 uveze nabona bangela bokubhubha kwenguli ezimbalwa ezigula ngengqondo.
4 people who had been living at CCRC for at least 5 years, for between 5 and 26 years, who were transferred to Iindaba, one of whom did not get their medication for epilepsy and died of uncontrolled seizures. So that would be consistent with people transferred to other places who did not receive treatment or died of uncontrolled seizures. The extreme loss of weight of one and dying of dehydration and anemia would be consistent with one of the cases that Dr. Talatala testified with, where there was a loss of weight, which had been documented. Mr. Terence Chaba, who went apparently from 63 kilograms to 46 kilograms. So that would be consistent with that. And then I missed some of the information of Mr. Mpofu, who died of pneumonia 4 months after the transfer. But again, consistent with people getting pneumonia in impoverished conditions.
Abantu abanenkolodo basemrarweni omkhulu. Lokhu kunjengombana iReserve Bank ikhuphule imali inzalo ezayela emalini ezibolekiswa imbhanka irepo rate nge-50 basis points yayokuba yi-8.25%. Lokhu kutsho ukuthi isilinganiso semali inzalo yemali imbhanka ezibolekisana ngayo sikhuphukele ku-11.75%. Lezi zindaba ezingasemnandi ebantwini ababhadela inkweleti eziphezulu kodwa zindaba ezimnandi kulabo ababulungako.
iReserve Bank ikhuphule irepo rate nge-50 basis points. Imbaseli, igezi, nendengo yokudla ngikho okusolwako ekukhuphuleni ichuguluko ndengo. iReserve Bank ithi ukuqindeliswa kwegezi nakho kungezelela endengweni ezikhuphukako njengombana kwenza kube budisi ukwenza ibhizinisi lapha eSouth Africa.
The MPC decided to increase the repurchase rate by 50 basis points to 8.25% per year with effect from the 26th of May 2023. The decision was unanimous. At the current repurchase rate level, policy is restrictive, consistent with elevated inflation and risk.
Kuzokuba budisi-ke ebantwini abanenkwelede. Njengokuthi na uthenge indlu ye-1 million rand nge-prime lending rate ye-20 years ngaphambi kokuthi iReserve Bank ithomise ukukhuphula imali inzalo yemali ezibolekiswa imbhanka bewubhadela ngaphezudlwana kwe-7,700 rands ngenyanga. Kanti njengombana imali inzalo ikhutshuliwe nje ukubeka nangosinye ikhaba ka2021 yakhuphuka nje sewuqala ukubhadela i10,837 rand ekuyimali engezeleleke nge3000 rand ukudlula le ebeyibhadela ekuthomeni.
Umthelela wokunyusa kwemali mboleko uzoba nomthelela omubi kakhulu kubathengi more general ngenxa yokuthi ukunyuka kwemali mboleko into okuyenzayo ukunyusa interest okumele ikhokhwe abathengi uma unesikweletu sendlu noma unesikweletu semoto noma unasiphi isikweletu so kunyusa imali mboleko lokho kwenza ukuthi okuletha ingcindezi enkulu emalini zabasebenzi or emalini zabantu basemakhaya so kuletha ingcindezi enkulu kakhulu ibe siyazi ukuthi vele abantu emakhaya bangaphansi kwengcindezi enkulu kakhulu okuntuleka kwamathuba emisebenzi sibonile ibalo zokuntuleka kwamathuba emisebenzi sikhuphuka zicishe ziyofika lapha ku33% okutshengisayo ukuthi isimo somnotho vele singaphansi kwengcindezi enkulu so njengoba kunyuke nje imali mboleko lokho kusho ukuthi singalindela ukuthi ingcindezi ikhule kakhulu kubathengi ngoba siyabona ngisho kuma debt busters uma besitshengisa ibalo lapho ukuthi kukhona ngisho abantu asebehluleka ukukhokha ngesikhathi ikweletu zabo ngenxa yalengcindezi le ababhekene nayo.
Konke lokho kwenzeka ngesikhathi esimbi lapho inaga iqalene nomraro wegezi nendleko zokuphila solo zikhuphuke njalo.
Uhulumende wesifunda seGauteng ufuna ukusebenzisa isabelo semali sesifunda ukwethula amahlelo amatsha. Hlangana nawo ikhampani yombuso ezokukhiqiza imchoka bebasise emnothweni wemalokishini. Usomkhandlu wezemali eGauteng uJacob Mamabulo kunye nowezokuthuthukiswa komnotho uThasne Motara bamemezele isabelo semali somnyaka wemali lo.
Inani eliphezulu lemali kaHulumende wesifunda seGauteng lizokwabela ikoro ukukhiqizwa nokuthutha kwezinto. Lokhu kuzokusiza ukuphungula ukungasasetshenziswa kuhle kwemali. Isabelo mali sesifunda nasiphelela sonke si154 billion yamaranda. Ukwethula kwekampani yesifunda ekhiqiza imchoka kulindeleke bona kusize ukuphungula imjeje emide emaklinika.
We believe that the people will get huge relief because we'll be able to adapt and adjust. So we will make sure that we take the people out of the long queues and the frustrations that they have by leveraging smart technologies and benchmarking with them and do household delivery directly.
Usomkhandlu Mtara uthi hlangana ne1.7 billion yamaranda esabelweni sakhe somnyaka yimali zokusetshenziswa umthangala sisekelo wesifunda. Lokhu kufaka ukusisa emnothweni malokishini ekorweni amateksi ukuqinisekisa ukuthi izakhamuzi ezihlala kulezo ndawo ziyahlomula ekuthuthukisweni komnotho.
It's about looking at the entire value chain. Not just the taxi and owning a taxi. It doesn't end there. Who supplies you with fuel? What are the financial services that you need to be able to sustain that business? Both insurance, access to loan funding, just for purchase of the vehicle, and then the parts supply, and then of course you get into other conversations about if you're looking for parts, who manufactures the parts? When you're manufacturing the parts, where do you source your inputs for manufacturing of the parts?
Nakusenjalo umnyango wezemali unikele nge1.2 billion yamaranda esifundeni ukuthenga ama solar panels azokunikela abasebenza imisebenzi eqhakathekileko eGauteng.
Nasibuya Ndolo. Ama-union abasebenzi bakwa-Eskom asiphayile isiphakamiso sokubakhuphulela imiholo nge-5.25%. Ubukele indaba zesiNdebele ku-DTT hlala uledle nangabe khona ufika kuzisekhona indaba lapha.
Idalana SABC News sidosela umtato nangabe unomhlala wendaba. Indaba ukusiluma indlebe namkha indaba ezinthwenyako emphakathini wankenu. Ngasidosela umtato ku 011 714 6133 namkha usi-emailele ku news@sabc.co.za. SABC News iphimbo lakho isijamele ayithatha ihlangothi.
Umluleki ngezevikeleko kaMengameli uDokotela uSydney Mofamadi naye ubhalile ukuveza amabizo abosopolitiki abasolwa ngobukhohlakali kwa-Eskom njengokutsho kwesikhulu se-Eskom salokhu u-Andre Direte. Umofamadi uvele ngaphambi kwekomiti ephenya ama-akhawunti ombuso eParlamente ngokuyokuletha umkhanyo ngensolwezi. Umofamadi utshele iScopa ukuthi uyawakhumbula amabizo akhulunyiswa nguDirete kodwa akakabi ukulungela ukuthi angawaveza. uDirete wathi nakakhuluma nesiteshi sethelevishini waveza ukuthi kunabanye abosopolitiki abahlotshaniswa ne-ANC abasebenzisa i-Eskom ukulelesa. Waraga ngokuthi wabela nongqongqoshe ngendaba le.
Was there any name dropping? Yes, there was. I can't remember the various designations that were used. On one hand, I understand Mr. Direte talks about high-ranking minister, high-ranking political office bearer. On the other, he talks about a minister. I can at least say, yes, there was a mention of a name or names.
Ama-union ajamela abasebenzi be-Eskom iNUMSA kunye neSolidarity barage isiphakamiso se-Eskom sokubakhuphula imiholo nge-5.25 yamaphesenti. Lokhu kuza ngemva kwemkhulumiswano yokukhutshulelwa imiholo ezokuraga inyanga ezako. Ama-union la afuna imiholo ikhutshulwe ngamaphesenti ahlangana ne-10 ne-15 yamaphesenti. Nakusenjalo isathawu ejamela abasebenzi bekhampani yombuso iPrasa ithi itshele umqatshi bona akhuphule umholo ngemali ebonakalako ukubalekela ukuthi abasebenzi bangenele umchakalo.
I-Union National Union of Metal Workers of South Africa ithi abasebenzi be-Eskom bazokuraga nokudobha phasi. Lokhu kulandela ukukhuphuka kwemalinzalo i-Reserve Bank ebolekisa ngayo imbhanka ezincane ze-South Africa nga-50 basis point izolo. I-Union le ithi u-Eskom angaphakamisa amaphesenti angcono ukukhuphula imiholo kune-5.25 yamaphesenti. INUMSA ithi isiphakamisisi singaphasi kwe-CPI kwagawuthisi ejame ku-6.8 yamaphesenti isuka ku-7.1 yamaphesenti.
Workers at Eskom have for the last 3 years been subjected to austerity measures. The allowances have not changed since 2016-2017, and this is because Eskom has been taking away from workers. They loot through the procurement expenditure and they will not intervene to reduce those expenses. But when workers at Eskom ask for a decent wage increase, the SOE pleads poverty. Workers at Eskom refuse to continue to suffer whilst the financial mismanagement of the entity continues unabated.
I-Union National Union of Metal Workers nayo ithi amalunga ayo angeke amukele isiphakamiso sokukhutshwa umholo ngesilinganiso singaphasi kwe-CPI.
The reason why we rejected the latest offer by the power utility is that it is less than the inflation rate of 7.1. And there was no way that our members were going to accept anything that is below the inflation rate.
Ngakolinye ihlangothi i-Union South African Transport and Allied Workers ivekele ithome ngomzombo wokuthoma emkhulumiswano yokukhutshulwa imiholo ne-Passenger Rail Agents of South Africa Bargaining Forum. Isathawu ifuna ukukhutshulwa imiholo ngamaphesenti ayi-15.
I can confirm that we've met with the management yesterday and we are expecting and hoping that they respond to our demands today. Amongst our demands is 15% increment across the board, a year agreement. The employer must also contribute 70% towards the medical aid. We are also demanding 3,000 rands for housing allowance. We are also saying we don't want retrenchments during this period of agreement.
Isathawu ithi iye emkhulumiswaneni le nePrasa iyokulwa begodwa ukuvikela amalunga wayo. Ithi angeke ithathe inani elinyazabelo elidela amalunga ayo. Ngakolinye ihlangothi ama-union ajamela abasebenzi emkhulumiswaneni ne-Eskom athi azokuraga ngemkhulumiswano yehlandla lesine ngomhla ka-13 no-14 kuMgwengweni.
Sithi akhe sivulela amehlo indaba yamalwelwe afana ne-asthma njengoba nenyanga le kuyinyanga yokuphandlulula isitshaba ngobulwele be-asthma. Sikhambisana nesazi sezempilo uSister Mamsi Masilela oyimetron ye-Unjani Clinics. Sister Mamsi, siyakwamukela lapha endabeni ze-SABC. Mhlawumnye ungathoma ngokusihlathululela ngomehluko phakathi kwe-asthma ne-TB.
Ngithokoze ngilotshise kuwethandeka nakubabukeli. Nasikhuluma
TB vane sikhuluma ngebacteria. Ibacteria leli nangithi bacteria ngisho igciwane esilibiza ngokuthi i-Lactobacillus tuberculosis. Kusho ukuthi ibacteria le i-attack ama-lungs, and then ama-lungs ngikhuluma ngamaphaphu. And i-tuberculosis nasikhuluma nge-TB sikhuluma ngento oyithola ngama-droplets, ngamanzana amancane bese akhamba emoyeni, uyayiphefumula i-TB bese uyayithola, namkha umuntu akhafulele phasi, and then bese ke umoya nawuthoma uphakama wena uyayiphefumula ke i-TB le uba nayo. And umehluko ukuthi i-TB yona ayi-attack ama-lungs kuphela, iyakhona noku-attack amanye ama-internal organs afana nama-kidneys, ne-spine, ne-brain. Kanti-ke nasikhuluma nge-asthma sikhuluma nge-condition namkha la kwenzeka khona i-gaseous exchange lapho umuntu aphefumula khona. So lapha-ke emaphatshini kuma-lungs la aphefumula khona sithi kuba inflamed namkha kuba narrow, kusho ukuthi kuba nokuvuvuka hlangana namaphaphu womabili. Athi angavuvuka-ke amaphaphu la avala indlela yokuthi umuntu aphefumule ngayo. Why avaleka? Ngoba akusana moya ofuna ukwenza i-gaseous exchange layer, and then bese kuyavaleka, akupheleli lapho thandeka kuba nama-extra mucus amathimila amaningi avala lapha bese kuba narrow, umuntu ke bese kuba nenkinga lesithi une difficult in breathing, akasakhona ukuphefumula. Ngiwo-ke umehluko hlangana ne-asthma ne-TB.
Ingakhani i-asthma inefuzo namkha iyathathelana?
I-asthma ayithathelani, into engathi ethathelanako ngiyo-ke i-TB. I-asthma ayithathelani, inefuzo khulu abantwana laba ababelethwa babelethi abane-asthma, labo bantwana labo basengozini khulu yokuthi bathi nabavelako bavele bane-asthma. So ngamanye amagama siyasho ukuthi i-asthma ilifuzo, i-asthma iyathathelana. Kungakho umuntu nakeziveke emtholampilo siyambuza ukuthi ngubani ekhena one-asthma, uyokuthola ukuthi ngumkhulu wakhe, ngugogo wakhe, namkha babelethi bakhe abambelethako bane-asthma. So vele i-asthma ilifuzo. Nawazi ukuthi emndenini i-asthma ikhona, nguwe vele ufanele uhlale uzihlogomela kakhulu ngebanga lokuthi ungahle ube ne-asthma.
Alo abonakala njani amathwayo we-asthma? Nibahlola njani abantu abane-asthma?
Okay, umuntu one-asthma yena ngokwakhe uzokhohlela, and ukhohlela nini? Ebusuku. And kodwa sizombona ngokuthi njengabantwana nabathi bayadlala esikolweni, or abantu abadala nakathi uyozivocavoca, uya-exercise lapha, uyathoma uyavaleka. And umuntu wakhona uba ne-chest pain, uba ne-pain ebalahla hlangana nehliziyo nebele. And then abe hwizi, nasithi hwizi uzomuza umuntu wakhona nakaphefumulako or nakakhohlelako, ukukhohlela kwakhe kunomloza nyana othi wi, then we call it ihwizi. And uba nakaphefumulako uphefumula ngomlomo, and then nakaqeda uphefumula ngomlomo ke abe ne-throat irritation emphinjeni akusathi umbona nje ukuthi emphinjeni uyavaleka. Then-ke sizathi sisahlezi nje emtholampilo sibone bangena msinyane balethi umuntu bathi akasakhona ukuphefumula, uphefumula ngomlomo, and nempumulo zakhe ziyaflera, kusho ukuthi akasakhona ukuphefumula kuhle ngemphimbo wakhe ngoba sekuvalekile lapha. Sibabona njalo ukuthi lo une-asthma.
Sister Mamsi, kuyakhonakala bona umuntu azivikele ku-asthma?
Kuyakhonakala ngaphandle kokuthi kulifuzo. Kukhonakala ngokuthi sele unayo i-asthma, khwitha ekubhemeni. Nangabe uyabhema-ke awukhoni ukuliyekela igwayi, avoida ukubhema amagwayi la sibiza ukuthi ama-second hand wegwayi, amagwayi atholakala nge-back door, kungasimagwayi wamambala. And zama ngazo zothi indlela ukuthi nawuzazile ukuthi une-asthma, la kunenruthu khona mbatha imask ukuthi intuthu le ingangeni, ngoba once intuthu yakungena une-asthma, noma umuntu uyabhema ubhemela phambi kwakho, noma kunenruthu nje yokutsha, uzokubona umuntu lo uyathoma u-affecta i-asthma because izokuhamba iyokuvala lapha-ke emaphatshini akhe. njengalaba abasebenza ema-ofisini i-air conditioner fanele ibe nama-filter, ama-filter la avimba ukuthi i-dust ingaphumi. Nemicamelo lesicamela ngayo ekhaya akungabi imicamelo yakade enamasiba wakade uthi na uthi uyacamela u-inhale amasiba lawa, then-ke umuntu akhona-ke i-asthma-ke izokuthola ukuthi seyiyaphakama-ke iyambamba.
Iyalapheka namkha iyalawuleka i-asthma?
I-asthma ayilapheki. I-asthma is a chronic thing. Nangithi chronic ngisho ukuthi kugula ozokuphila nakho, and then nasele unayo ngeke sithi nasi treatment sizokunikela yona uzokuphola. Nethi into esizoyenza after udiagnosiwe ukuthi une-asthma, sizokuqala ukuthi i-asthma yakho ifuna ispray, and nangabe ifuna ispray ifuna siphi. I-asthma yakho ifuna amapilisi ongawasela, and nangabe amapilisi ngimaphi. Njengabantwana laba abancane, nangabe umntwana uvele simbona sisemncane ukuthi une-asthma, kuba nespray esinikela ababelethi ukuthi ba-spray umntwana lo ekuseni nakavukako namkha ntambama. Nangabe ungumbelethi okhone ukuthi uspray umntwana lo ngendlela khona, kunalento esiyibiza ukuthi bayayi-outgrower. Umntwana nakakhula i-asthma leyo akasabi nayo, kodwana ingasiboka abantwana ababa naleyo hlanhla leyo yokuthi bayi-outgrowe. So ngamanye amagama uyayi-outgrower nosesemncane nawukhulako ayisabi khona. Ngesinye isikhathi-ke laba abadala vele abanayo ayilapheki, uzokuphila ngama-spray njalo mkhaphi aphile ngamapilisi.
Sisakhuluma ngabantwana njalo, iyingozi kangangani ebantwaneni?
Ingozi ikhulu ngoba kokuthoma umntwana akakhona ukuhlukanisa ukuthi yena une-asthma, akazi nokuthi i-asthma yini. Umuntu omkhulu ngakho umtshela ukuthi ungagijimi. Abantwana bayadlalisana esikolweni, bayagijimisana. Next nakathoma aphefumula fast kuba ne-narrowing lapha kuma-airways wakhe, uyathoma umntwana uyavaleka akasakhona ukuphefumula. And kube nzima nokuthi abize abantu abadala ukuthi angisakhona ukuphefumula, athekwe i-asthma. Nakasele bayomletha kithi ngemtholampilo sekulaphi, uthola ukuthi-ke abanye abantwana bayahlongakala. So ingozi ikhulu ebantwaneni, ingcono ebantwaneni abakhulu ngoba umuntu omkhulu uhlala aphethe ispray sakhe ngebhegeni. Nakathoma azizwa ukuthi uyavaleka, uyaspraya ngendlela esimfundise ngayo. Kodwa umntwana akanalo ilwazi, uyadlala, ungena entuthwini, udlala edustini, and nasekavalekileko akakhoni kodwa ukuthi izani msinyana nizongisiza.
Alo Sister Mamsi, ingayi asthma lenayo ikugula okusizakala ngokhunye ukugula emzimbeni?
Ungabuza umbuzo wakho kompithandeka?
I-asthma le ikugula okusizakala ngokhunye ukugula ekuthola emzimbeni mhlambe?
Iye, iyasizakala ngoba angithi i-asthma le sithi it's a respiratory tract infection and i-affecta nama-sinus. And then-ke nayisenza njalo-ke bese kuba nalento esiyibiza ukuthi it's a opportunist pathogen ebanga pneumonia ebantwini laba abanamasotsha womzimba aphasi. Thola ukuthi-ke umuntu lo unamasotsha womzimba aphasi, and ngapha-ke sekagcina sekaba nama-asthma, hayi ngoba i-asthma abenayo ngefuzo, but because of ama-opportunistic infection.
Sithokoze khulu ngesikhathi sakho Sister Mamsi.
Ngithokoze nakubabukeli, ngithokoze nakuwethandeka.
Umengameli walokhu weSouth Africa uThabo Mbeki uthi akakholwa bona kunengikhali ezithengiselwe inaga yeRussia nguhulumende weSouth Africa pha. Bekakhuluma ne-SABC eGuinea Conakry. Umbeki uthi iSouth Africa inemthetho eqinisiweko elawula ukuthengiswa kwengikhali. Umbeki uveze namazizo wakhe ngokukhusha kwencwadi yokubotshwa kwakamengameli weRussia uVladimir Putin yikhotho yobulelesi yenchaba ngezwa ngobatsho yezehlakalo zobulelesi ophathelene nempi eUkraine.
Impi ye-Ukraine yathinda indawo eziningi ephasini zombelele, kanti inarhakazi ye-Afrika akhange isalele emva. Ithindekile nayo. Ingikhulu ezisithandathu zenarhakazi ye-Afrika zizokuya eRussia ngomnqopho ukukhulumisana nomengameli weRussia newe-Ukraine. Umengameli walokhu weSouth Africa uThabo Mbeki uthi ligadango elihle leli.
During the Second World War, the Russians lost at least 25 million people as a result of that war. So when they say, why is NATO advancing to our borders? It's a concern they have because they remember this history. Germany attacked them in 1941. 25 million people died. Now you have this military organization which is marching towards you. Of course, they will say, but we don't want another 25 million Russians dying. So those are the things that need to be discussed and solutions found.
Umbheki uphefumulena ngendaba yentshijilo zikamengameli weRussia nekhoti yamacala obulelesi yenitshaba-tshaba uthi akaboni umengameli weRussia abotshwa enarheni lemi.
I think these BRICS countries must agree either to hold the summit chaired by South Africa in one of the BRICS countries outside South Africa, or hold it virtually. Because I'm quite sure we can't say to President Putin, please come to South Africa, and then arrest him. At the same time, we can't say, come to South Africa and not arrest him, because we're defying our own law. We can't behave as a lawless government.
Umbheki uyiphayile yokuthi isikepe esithutha umthwalo i-Russian vessel Lady R esasise eSimonstown eTshingalanga Kapa sesizokulayitsha ingikhali.
The US ambassador had spoken to me. I would have said two things. One, the law in South Africa does not allow for the export of weapons to countries that are in conflict. It's illegal. So I doubt it. I don't think it happened. If it happened, whoever is responsible must be charged criminally. The second thing I would say, as far as I know, the South Africa armaments industry does not produce the sophisticated weapons that the Russians are using.
Kanti ngehlangothini lezokuthula nezokuphepha enarhakazini yeAfrika umbheki uthi kufanele kuqalwe intshijilo zokuphepha inarha yeSudan neye-DRC eziqalene nazo. Nakusenjalo umbheki ukhombela uhulumende nababelani bona baqede bebethula amahlelo amenyezelwa ngumengameli nabekathula inkulumo yakhe yobunjalo benarha ngeentshijilo zokuphila nezomnotho inarha leqalene nazo. Le miraro engenzeka iphakanyiswe uhulumeni kaThabo Mbeki yaqobe eminyaka ngomgqibelo.
Ukukhambiselela indaba yobu-Afrika njengoba nizolo begidingwa ilanga le-Afrika, namhlanje e-studio sivakatshelwe umuntu omutsha uNontokozo Sikhosana osebenzisa ikhono lakhe lokuphothela ukuziphilisa. uNontokozo usebenzisa umgwalo wesiNdebele ukuphothela ukwenza izinto zesimodeni. Nathamana siyakwamukela endabeni zesiNdebele ku-DTT.
Angithokoze Thandeka, ngithokoze ithuba elingiphelo namhlanje.
Akusitshele uthome njani ukuphothela ngombana sikwazi kuyinto ethandwa abogogo zindlukazi.
Ukuphothela ngathoma nangikhumbula kuhle ngangineminyaka 13. Khangibona umuntu ophothelako ekhaya. Niyazi vele abantu bamaNdebele vele bayaphothela bathengisa. Khangibona uma akaphothela kodwa nangithi mangibangifundisa ukuphothela athawa isandla sakho silula angeke uqinise into ezingiyazithengisa khobo into ezinjalo. Yeke bengithi nangivakatshele kwagogo ugogo yena akakhange abe nomraro angifundisa athawa asenze umntwana masiphothele. Hawu mama kuza kubona ngawe sokwazi ngafunda njalo ukuphothela.
Izinto ziziningi kangaka Nontokozo wase wakhetha ukuphothela kuba yini?
Mina ngingumuntu othanda iart. Yeke ukuphothela into engibone ukuthi yinto engizokhona ukuveza imizwa yami ngayo. Ngikhona ukuba creative khwabo. Yeke that's why ngingakho ke ngikhetha ukuthi ngiphothele. And into enye ngiyibonile ukuthi abantu abanengi abakuboni njengento ongaziphilisa ngayo. Okuthi ukuthi kunesikhala emkhakheni okuphothela. Yingakho ke ngathawa ngoba nakuse ngiyakwazi ngingumuntu creative angihlanganise ngiziphilise nami.
Uphothela ini?
Yo, njengoba ubona nje. Yebo, namacici naka. So into engiziphothelako vane ngibatshela ukuthi into engithanda ukuyisho umuntu akangibuza ukuthi uphothelani. Ngithi mina if you can think about it I can make it for you. So ngiphothela yonke into ama-watch, amabhande, umkhala nevunulo yesiNdebele. Yonke into nawungasucabanga ukuthi yazi mara amanyathelo ami la ngathana ngathi ngawafaka umncamo ngiyakufakela.
Alo umgwalo owusebenzisako lo ukhuthazwe yini?
Umgwalo ngusebenzisako lo ukhuthaze magwalo wesiNdebele. Mina ngingumuntu ongathandi into elula yokuthi mhlambe wenze umuda nje uqedile. Ngingumuntu othanda izinto ezizongichallenge. Yeke amagwalo wesiNdebele amagwalo anezinto eziningi. Yeke na uphothelako awumani uphothele nje kose uthoma ubali ukuthi njenganje ngiyajika ngifake 1 njenganje kose ngijike ngifake 2. Yingakho ke ngikhuthaza amagwalo wesiNdebele ngoba ayinto engichallenge awo.
Allo, abantu abathengiselako kukhona abantu abathengiselako uthengisa kuphi?
Ukuthengisa khona ngiyathengisa kodwa ngithengisa akusindo engiyenza fast mara abantu abafuna ukuthenga kimi bangithinda ku Facebook.
Ngibone inthombe osithumele zona. Ingamhlawumnye uphothela amagwalo wesiNdebele kuphela nofana uyazifaka ezinye?
Awa angiphothela amagwalo wesiNdebele kuphela. Amagwalo wesiNdebele ngasho ngithi yinto engikhuthazileko kodwa akusingiwo wonke umuntu owathanda kwamagwalo lawo. Yeke angiphotheli wona wodwa ngiphothela namanye amagwalo. Na ufika kumuthi nontokozo ngifuna into nje ngiyakwenzela yona.
Bakhona abantu abanekareko mhlambe osele ubafundisa ikhono lakho eli?
Awa okwanje abakabo kuba khona mara yinto engathanda nami ukuthi ngiyenze lo ngidlulisele ikhono enginalo kwabanye abantu.
Ungamkhuthaza uthini umuntu omutsha ohlezi ngezandla zakhe?
Engathanda ukusho umama uthanda ukuthi ntokozo angazi ukuhlulwa into engakhulumiko. So engathanda ukukusho abantu nabasho ukuthi hlala phasi uziqala ukuthi yini oyikhonako. Thatha into leyo ubone ukuthi emphakathini wangikheni kuthlayela ini. Sebenzisa lokho ke wena onekhono nakho. Usiza umphakathi, uzisiza nawe.
Ntokozo sithokoze kukhulu isikhathi sakho lapha indabeni zesiNdebele ku DTT.
Thokoza mina.
Lo nguNontokozo Sikhosana, umuntu omutsha ophothelako. Umbanduli we-Orlando Pirates uJose Rivero uthi ukuthumba abonongorwana ababili ngeke kuchugulule indlela edanisako abadlale ngayo isizini le-DStv Premiership. IPirates ibambana neSikhukhune United emdlalweni wama-final wephaliswano le-Nedbank Cup eLoftus Versfeld ePitori kusasa. Umbanduli weSikhukhune uBrand Truter yena uncamele ukusebenzisa indlela yokudlala ukuvuna khulu ngemva kokuthi ebabethwe iPirates kuthole ithuba lokugcina.
I-Orlando Pirates inethuba lokuthumba abonongorwana ababili isizini le njengoba nabathumba ibhigiri MTN 8 nakusathoma isizini. Amabhakabhaka aqeda isizini ebujameni besibili bachwa zingukutani zeligi iSundowns ngamaphuzu ayi-16. Umbanduli wezimnyama ngekani uJose Rivero uthi bebafuna ukubanga iligi.
We can finish the season with 2 trophies, second spot, but still we are not satisfied, and it's the truth. We I don't want to be arrogant because I'm not. Okay, so it's a competition, and what we want in every competition is play until the end, have the opportunity to fight until the end, and we didn't in the league. It's a fact.
IPirates zindando zebhigiri okulandela ukuthumba iMTN 8 baqeda nebujameni besibili eligini kanti badlala imidlalo eli-12 ngaphandle kokuloba. Umbanduli Riviero uyavuma ukuthi ukuba siqheme esikhulu kwenza bona babe zindando zephaliswaneli.
I take it, I accept it. We are Orlando Pirates. Any game we're going to play, we have to accept that role and that pressure, but at the same time, it doesn't mean that it's going to be an easy game, and just because we are Orlando Pirates, we're going to make it.
Isikhukhune iyemdlalweni lo amathemba phezulu ngemva kokudlala imidlalo emine ngaphandle kokuloba. Babina noko baqeda isizini ebujameni bekhomba begodu bangena iphaliswaneni le-CAF Confederation Cup. Kungena amagondelo ama-27 kuSikhukhune isizini le kanti umbanduli uBrand Truter uya emdlalweni lo ngokuvimba ngabadlali ababunane emuva.
In terms of our block, we have reinforced that it was a block of 8 in our last game against Pirates. So yeah, we have some quick players that can come out from a deep block. But in terms of them, yeah, they do commit a lot in attack as much as it's the strength, it can also be the weakness. With Pirates going into the game as confident as the public and myself assume as well, there will be spaces to exploit.
uTruter uthi amabhakabhaka qale bona kube ngiwo athumba umdlalo lo nangaphezulu kokuthi isizini le bathumba umdlalo munye badlala ngokulingana nabaqalana nePirates.
I'd like to take this opportunity also to congratulate Pirates for winning the last Q. I'm sure they are favorites for this, and coming into this team, they've done so well as well. The coach as well with this nomination. So we're going in there with the mindset also to enjoy the occasion. It's a historic event at the club in terms of reaching the final.
Amathikiti omdlalo athenge wonke uhulumende wesifunda seGauteng uzababeka amapholisa azinkulungwane 2 amakhamera akhamba emoyeni ama-drone ali-18 kunye nemphaphamtshini 2 ekubingwe ngazo ukulwa nobulelisi ngomgqibelo.
Ngokuzwa ngokunabileko ngomdlalo lo sikhulumisana nesazi semidlalo uMike Xaka. Babutlaka siyakwamukela endabeni zesiNdebele. Umdlalo wakusasa nowubona njani njengomana kuyokubabana isiqhema esaziwako nalesi inengi elithi ngesincane?
Ngithokoze nethubeli onginikela lona. Ngithi umdlalo wakusasa kwabanengi bacabanga ukuthi mhlambe umdlalo wokubalula for isiqhema seOrlando Pirates. Abasazi bezemidlalo abavumi nenkomba azivumi ukuthi yokubalula. Ngelinye ihlangothi nawuqala imidlalo ebabuya kiyo endleleni yabo yeNetbank, it's only lapha kuma semi-final lapha babe nemidlalo enzima kakhulu zombili iqhema isikhukhuni neOrlando Pirates. I-Chiefs iziwe iPirates, iStellenbosch saziwa isikhukhuni. Mara nawuqala idiscipline yeqhema zombili baye emdlalweni lo iPirates inama yellow card awu9 ebawathole endleleni yeNetbank, isikhukhuni nama yellow card ayi5. Ikutshela ngediscipline ekhona mhlambe bayahawuleka. Ngakwelinye ihlangothi isikhukhuni siya kulomdlalo nge-experience ebanayo yakajima noKhadoso emuva. Abakaconsider amagondelo amaningi, baconsider igondelo linye. Ngakwelinye ihlangothi iOrlando Pirates inabadlali bonke abangala magama abafuna ukuzenzela amagama. Ngicabanga ukuthi uErasmus, uThembi Inkosi Lodge, uMaketheni Makhawula badlala babaluleke kakhulu emdlalweni esiyakuyo lo we-final. Okuningi kuyokuba indlela ababandula ababili uJose noBrandon abokuhlalisa abadlali babo ngakhona ngaphakathi kwamathumbu wenkundla, ngoba iqhema eziningi ziloba imidlalo nazidlala ama-final ngokungahleleki kuhle. Mawukhumbula iPirates iwinile umdlalo weChiefs nge-2-1 mara bebangakahleleki kuhle, bahleleke kuhle ngemva kokungena kwakaMaketheni Makhawula noNdlondlo kwaba khona abadlali into bayibiza nge-double set-up midfield. Mara emdlalweni esiyakiyo lo wakusasa mhlambe isiqhema esiyokuberegisa amathuba waso msinyane ku-first half yise sobe sinamathuba amaningi wokuwina i-tournament leli.
Indlela ingqhemezi ezifike ngayo kuma-final kazi iPirates ibethe iChiefs, isikhukhune yabethe iStellenbosch. Ingalokhu kuzokuba nomthelelo emidlalweni nakusasa?
Uzokuba khona into ekhona ukuthi iPirates siyibone babonisa ubu-experience babo nabaceda ukuza iChiefs ngo-2-1 baye kumaZulu babetha amagondelo amane bakhombisa ukuthi ba-on form. Isikhukhuni ngakwelinye ihlangothi siqhema esingakhonsipi lula, akusilula ukuthi ubhoda abadlali babo bemuva ngemuva. Banabesana abancane abakhona ukuthwenya. Kunomthale bambiza ngoKhidiyo Mkwana, Elias Khidiyo Mkwana. Ulithwenye nabadlala umdlalo wabo neLeague nePirates, buyo omunye wabadlali bakorako nabadlala nePirates. So mara kuyomtesta lapho ukuthi uyakhona ukudlala noMagebholana. Phela uMagebholana sikhuluma ngeklabhu enkulu, ayisiklabhu encane, iklabhu enkulu iza ne-impact eningi ngaphakathi kwePitori kusasa.
Sisakhuluma ngabadlali njalo iPirates inabadlali abafana noLodge ozabe akhona emidlalweni lo. Ingakhani ilemuko lakhe lokudlala ama-final lizokusiza iPirates?
Unamagondelo amathathu kule-Nedbank yalonyaka. I-impact yakhe no-Erasmus ngicabanga ukuthi ngenkulu amabhakani abayiqalileko, mara simkhumbula ukuthi uLodge umuntu operforma kakhulu nakadlala ngaphakathi kwestage esikhulu. Istage sakusasa stage sakaLodge, mara imbuzo esinawo ukuthi uyokhona ukuphula iboda likaKhadoso noJima ngoba babonisa banediscipline. Phambi kwabo kunomkojo bane-experience yakavilakazi esimaziko ukuya ku-Sundowns. So umdlalo ongayokuba namagondelo amaningi oyokuba close ungaya nakuma-penalty.
Babutlaka ngibaphi abadlali besikhukhune iPirates kufuze batsheje?
Elias Mkwana, uChibuki Ahisa obuya ngeNigeria, nomsa weZambia uKabe. Nawuqala i-center back yePirates uThapelo Xoki noNkosinathi Sibisi abakanzinzeli kamnandi ukuthi bangaprotecta uChayile or uMpontshane. And now ukhuluma ngalabo abadlali badlali abanekhono lokugijima ngebelo nebholo ngesikhathi esisodwa. So abasibanengi intrigger ezikhona ukugijima kaningi siyibone kuma-European League. Then Ronaldo, former striker se-Brazil, bekhona ukugijima ibhola a-comfortable ngayo enyaweni kubo. So iPirates inombereko omningi wokusetha lababethu abathathu.
Babodlaka sithokoze khulu isikhathi sakho.
Ngithokoze.
Kanti ekhasini lethu le-Facebook sibuze ukuthi ngokubona kwakho ngisiphi isiqhema esiyokuphakamisa ibhigiri ye-Nedbank Cup kusasa phakathi kwe-Orlando Pirates neSikhukhune United. Nakumbona kuyalandela.
Bhakabhaka ngokuqinisekileyo lona liyedlula kulona umjikelo soze ibhakabhaka ngoba lifuna ubamba kwanto ngoku ngoba ingathi licaphukile lidlala kakuhle kakhulu.
Izinto ziyayivuna isekhukhune ngoba ikwazile ukushaya iOrlando Pirates ngicabanga ukuthi ngo-2-0 baphinde badraw yize bekuyama-league games ke lawo kodwa ikhombisa ukuthi inamandla mayibhekene ne-Orlando Pirates kuyomele ibambe iqini iOrlando Pirates. Isekhukhune ngiyibona izoyithatha iNedbank Cup.
Yabona elangeni lakusasa gamare sihlanganise inyawo siminye kujuluke yokindo isicema seOrlando Pirates siyokuphakamisa inongorwana we-Nedbank akuna ngenye indlela.
Ezizophakamisa ibhigiri kusasa iOrlando Pirates mkhathi ezimnyama ngekane amabhakaniya awaseyiphakamisa kusasa kunini sigijima ayikhe siphakamise kusasa mkhathi amabhakaniya siyayithatha lento mkhathi.
Ya mkhathi njengoba selusuku olulodwa nje kusasa lapha eLoftus Versfeld ePitori kuthi noma kanjani ezimnyama ngenkanoLorlando Pirates ziyandula ezikamagebholo besikamamenzeli isigodi noma ungabuza uMandla Zikhali noSizwe Thwala bazokutshela.
Hawu mina ngibona sengathi isikhukhune sowinela kalula nje lapha nakuPirates ngoba izosuka isithathe kancane bese siyawinela ke siyithatha indebe okuzoba indebe yokuqala ke siyiwina. Hayi isikhukhune nje sowina lapha nangabazi.
iPirates izoyithatha le Nedbank kepha mina sifisa ngifisa ukuthi ilento isikhukhune isithathe ngoba labantu kumanje sebahle bayakhuluma ukuthi banecup le-1 sebothathe lesi-2 so yabo isikhukhune manje ungasithatha ngingajabula kabi kodwa ngibona ukuthi kuzoba easy ngoba iPirates ayisefomini kakhulu.
Orlando Pirates bayithola ngeqoma bonke ukuthi izoyithatha kodwa ngibona izothana nobunzima lapha kwisikhukhune. Lo mdlalo uzozofika kuma-penalty isikhukhune ngenhlanhla izowina ama-penalty yizo lifta le ndeba iPirates ngeke izithathe. Isikhukhune izoyithatha futhi ngiyayifisela isikhukhune ithathe bakithi.
Nakanjani iPirates ibuya nayo le cup sinithembile mabhakaniya anakusiphoxa uyanayo ezimnyama ngenkani ezikamagebhulu uyanayo amabhakabhaka.
Umbono nje wombukeli SABC izokuthosa umlando wokuziphendulela ngombono wombukeli. Ziphela lapha namhlanje sihlangane kodwa ngokuzako akube musa.